Hey folks, it's Roland with the Delmi Training Institute, and today I wanted to talk about the setup that we do have here. So it's an access control setup, and at the same time I'm going to be introducing our new miniature sliding gate that we use in class to try and train new technicians that are getting ready to go on the market, and also try and understand how access control systems work. So on this door that we do have, on this sliding gate that we do have, it's a miniature one obviously, we have a red LED, and that LED indicates that the door is fully closed. We do have a green LED indicating that the gate is fully opened, as well as a yellow LED indicating that the door is in motion, the sliding gate is in motion. So this is something that we design in-house. On this sliding gate, we do have a CDVI Bluetooth reader as well as an NFC reader. So it's got these capabilities built in. We also do have an RBH reader on this sliding gate. We do have a regular miniature door with a door strike, some LED indicators that we did add to the setup. We have an RBH reader similar to that one here with a Bluetooth. We have on the side a request to exit button. So this represents an actual scenario where you have a door and you have a sliding gate all connected to your CDVI panel. And we have a laptop here, and we can use that laptop for the programming, so it's connected to the panel. First of all, what I'm going to focus is I'm going to focus on this CDVI panel, and I'm going to talk about some of the feature sets I like about this panel. We pretty much train on 3 different access control panels in our training facility, and they're all unique in a very special way. But today my focus is going to be on the CDVI panel. I believe in future videos we're going to be talking about other panels as well. So this is the KRYPTO panel, the A22K, and it's one of the flagship panels from CDVI. It's a 2-door controller, meaning that you're capable of wiring 2 independent doors. And in this situation, we're controlling this sliding gate as well as this door together. This gate has been wired using the RS-485, and this has been wired using the Wiegand. So again, this was something that I wanted to talk about and let you know that this panel is so diverse. You could do either RS-485 or you could do Wiegand. This panel also has the option of using a relay to control these doors, right, the outputs, or it's got a lock output also built in, so you can directly send power here through the lock outputs, or you can use the relay and wire the power supply through the relay as well. What we've done here is we're using one section of it for the relays, and we're using one section for the lock output. So these are very unique situations that we're doing on this CDVI panel. So with this, what we've done is we use the banana cable, which is an access control cable, provision cable. That's what we used to connect from the reader that is there all the way to the inputs here. We have a door contact built on. We have the request to exit on that side, as well as the gate itself being the output. So let's first talk about this panel. So this panel comes all in all. Once you get it, it's just a power supply you plug into the wall outlet, and it does that for you. It powers up this. The panels are well differentiated. So when you're talking about reader 1, that is the one that is indicated with the black, and it goes to show you what the inputs terminals are going to be, as well as the output terminals with the locks and the relays. And reader number 2 is indicated by ivory, and the same thing happens. To the left, you have additional output and zone definitions from there. So you have auxiliary output, and you also do have your RS-485 connectivity. So if you want to connect multiple panels, you are able to do that from there as well. And on here, you have the ground and you have your temper. If you want to monitor the door, whether someone is opened it or not, you have that. The good thing about that is you can also pull out these terminal blocks, and you can do your wiring and you can plug them in. So that's one of the simplicity of this panel. And to reset this panel, there is a small push button here you can press and do that. What I want to focus on is, even if you're not too sure, they've made it so bulletproof that all the wirings have been provided on the inside portion of this cover plate. So this is the door that closes that. Once you open it, all your cheat sheet is going to be on here. So you get to remember even if you did forget something. So everything is here. So let's see how easy it is to wire. So because we're doing the Wiegand on door number 2, we're using the Wiegand wiring standards. And if we're doing the RS-485, we just wired 4 wires in here. One thing I have to talk about is for RS-485, you're able to do in and out on one reader terminal and in and out on the other one. So you can do a total of 4 readers, RS-485. You just have to do the configuration on the reader and that would work. If you're doing Wiegand, for example, then it allows you to do only 2 doors. So the panel has been wired up properly, and like I said, we're using the lock output on reader number 1 and we're using a relay to control the second door. So once everything has been wired up, there are a few dips, jumper settings here that you can also play around with. So the first one to the left controls the lock output 1, and the one to the right controls the lock output 2. If you do want constant voltage here in a normally closed state, then what you're able to do is you just have to move the jumper, pretty much physically take the jumper off. It comes out like that. You can take it off and put it on the last 2 terminals. And once you do that, you have closed that loop. So there's going to be constant power at this terminal. And if you want to do that for lock output number 2, you just have to do that. If you want the output to be in a normally open state, what you have to do is keep it on the 0 volts and you would have no power at the output. If there is a valid read or a valid credential, then it's going to provide power briefly based on the programming that you have done on the panel. Very straightforward, very easy to use. You know, you can set this up in a very little time. So once you have your panel set up and all wired up, that is your Ethernet port. We have this hooked up directly to our laptop, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to set this up. First of all, you have to get the CDVI. They have a finder that would help you send a broadcast on the network and try and detect their panels. And it's called the Atrium Finder. It's a free download. You can just go on their website and you can download it. Download it onto your laptop, as I do have here, and you're going to launch it. So have it on there, double click it, and it pops up. What you're going to do is you can do the IP address configuration also through here. So once it finds it, you want to make sure that this is the right panel that you're configuring. This, especially if you have multiple panels. And how do you identify that? You're able to identify that using the MAC address and the serial number. You'll see that the MAC address pops up here. And on this, you see the serial number is going to pop up in the first tab. And I can confirm that from here. And also, I do have the MAC address that I can also confirm. So now I know that this is what I'm working with. Once I do that, I can change the IP address and do a few things. So I can click on modify, and there I can do that IP address change. It's important, if you want to communicate with this, make sure your laptop is on the same network portion as the panel, so you change it and make sure that they match. Now let's look at the next thing. I'm going to click on this panel and I'm going to go to the web. So I'm going to click on go to the web, and it's going to take me directly into the web interface. The good thing about this CDVI panel is you are able to use the software, which is a downloadable software, and you can install it on your computer and do all the programming from there. I find it very easy to use the web interface. It's bulletproof, right? And you can do that in a very little time. So I'm going to put in your credentials for the login ID and password. and you are in. So under the software, you have users, cards, door, areas, configuration, cameras, etc., etc. So that's just pretty much what it is. This has already been programmed. I'm going to do a video and I'm going to walk you through how to program it step by step. But this is just an overview of what you have. You can set this up in a very little time. So the programming on this one is done. What I want to talk about is how easy it is. How do we control these two doors? There are multiple ways. I can use the cards that I've programmed on. So if I just go and I tap on that, you can see the gate starts to open because there was a valid read on here, and so access has been granted and the sliding gate is going to open. So as it's opening, we see that the yellow indicator is flashing, as well as the siren, letting us know that the gate is in motion, so stay clear. For whatever period of time that we've set it, it's going to stay open, and then as soon as it's fully opened, it did switch to the green LED, so indicating on both ends that the door is fully open. If the time expires, what we do have is the gate is going to start to close again, and it's going to switch to the red LED. That is just one of the ways that you are able to control this. Also, what you can also do is you can buy CDVI's Bluetooth credentials, and you can load it on the software, and it allows you to control all these using your phone. I find the experience to be flawless. We've used that in class. We teach our students with it, and they go through all of that. But that's not the least. You can touch your phone to open the gate. You can even use your voice. So I can just speak, pull up that and just speak, and the gate will open. Or I can tap using that. So let's see some of the ways we have to do it. So first of all, I'm going to unlock my phone. And on here, I do have the Atrium BT app downloaded onto my phone. So what I can do is, there are multiple ways. You have to go in and set what you want. So there are these three dots here. When you tap on them, it's going to show you the gates or whatever panels that you have, and this allows you to do that selection. Now above it, there is like a credit card icon. Once you tap on it, it's going to ask you to authenticate. So I'm going to do a fingerprint authenticate because that's how I have authenticated that. In here, you're able to change the default languages, check the logs, delete a site or its credentials. You could change passwords, and you could also do some stuff here under preferences. When you go to where you can register your mobile pass, you can click on the link to go through the crypto, or you could add it individually, or you can scan for stuff that are there. So once you click that, it's going to keep searching and see what you have to add, right? So now let's take a look at this. All right, so it did the scanning. On the bottom here, it's going to be scanning till it sees that door. Currently, it is set to touch. So once I touch that, it's going to send that information to that Bluetooth reader, and it's going to open the gate, just like that. Once the gate is unlocked, you see that the unlock button comes on your phone, which makes it very easy. And you can see the events are starting to populate. I can also see the same events on my laptop, but I can see them on my phone as they start to populate. Right, so let's see. Constantly it is scanning. So once you're in close proximity with one of those, it's always scanning to give you. Let's look at the other experience that I do have here. So under here, when I tap on these three settings, it gives me the option to touch, to scan, or to do automatic hands-free. So if I have it set to automatic hands-free, it gives me a very good experience. You could, like I said, we just did a touch, so the touch opened it. You could do the scan. So if I select scan, if I want to enable that my phone, I'd always have to scan and use that as a contactless reader, then I just take that and I scan it and it's going to work. So that is NFC. And I can also do automatic, set it to automatic, which is hands-free. So if I have it, if I select that, when I come closer or when I'm in close proximity to that reader, the gate automatically opens, giving me a very seamless and great experience. Or you can do biometrics. So biometrics, it has to authenticate your fingerprint or something like that for you to gain access into that space. And last but not the least, one of my favorites is the voice command. The voice is one of my favorites, right? Just pull it up and say open. Let's see how that works. So I selected that voice. It also tells me the live Bluetooth signal, how far away I am. So it's about 40%. You can adjust that, right? Especially if you have an area that has multiple Bluetooth enabled devices. You don't want to be sending commands and find out that it's opening other doors. So you have to minimize the Bluetooth signal. So right now I'm at 40%, and you can apply it to all the doors, or you can select specific doors here. So once I do that, I'm going to go back, and you notice that voice has been activated here. So what I have to do is, once I have that, it's going to keep scanning. And all I have to say is open gate door, right? And you're going to see on the top, it's picking up and translating everything that I'm saying. It's there, but it's looking for the keyword. So open gate door. Once it got the keyword in there, now the gate is starting to open. So this is one of the coolest functions, but you have to know that that microphone has to be there to be able to pick up that keyword, right? But remember, you have to do that settings in the card before this can be enabled. Okay, so that is it for using the CDVI BT, the app, to control most of these. You have to understand that when you enroll here at Delmi Training Institute, it's not your typical learning center. This is a hands-on technical training center where you get to wire up all these things yourself. So you have that experience. And what does it do? It builds your confidence, because if you're able to do it here and you can test all the feature sets, once you get out in the field, you're very confident because you've tried it, you've seen all the different things that could go wrong, and you've fixed that even before going on site. So it makes your life way easier. So that's just one way of using one panel to control that. I'm going to shift my attention to this door that we have here. On this door, we do have an RBH reader connected to a CDVI panel, which is possible. Remember that when you do that, you have to go and select the right card format and put that in your software. So that's just what we did for this. Also, you can use the card to try and do this, but that's not what I'm going to use. I'm just going to pull up my phone and also going to use the Bluetooth feature on here to try and unlock that. So with RBH as well, there is an app for it. It's called the RBH Mobile BT. That is the app. It looks like that. So I'm going to launch that app, and you're going to have this. So obviously, it's going to give you the card number on the screen. And this is the number that you have to input into your software and grant the necessary permissions. So as I can see now, the door is in the locked state, so I cannot open it. The strike is in a failed secured state, so there's no power going to it right now. So when I try to open it, nothing happens. I have a request to exit on the side. I can tap on that. It switches to green, and this can open easily. But as soon as I close it, it switches back to red. So that's just one way I can unlock this using the request to exit. And that's it. But now let's take a look at this Bluetooth stuff. All I have to do after having a successful credential, I just have to hit that. It's going to start scanning, find it, and unlock it. Green, and I should be able to do the exact same thing here. Right, the way we've programmed it, the door relocks upon door closure. I'm going to try that again here. Click on that. It scans, sends the information. There's going to be a valid read. door is going to unlock, and then door is open. As soon as I close it, and the contact, and it makes contact, it's going to close either that way or the time expires. So that's just it. Unlock, closes it, that's it, right? You can do pretty much a lot of things using this CDVI panel. So that's just what I wanted to talk about. And this is just one aspect of what students get to learn when they enroll in our access control course. Very informative, very educational. You get to make all the mistakes that you can make here in class. Well, if this is a course that you think you're passionate about, and you've been thinking about enrolling and getting the skill and getting the knowledge and getting the resources, and most importantly, you learn at your own pace. If you don't have that time to stay out of work and you can make up 1 week, that's all it takes. We'll break it down. You find out that by the 5th day, you are able to wire these things exactly as we have wired it here. Well, if you found this video informative and you think that this course is right for you, why don't you check out our socials? See what previous students have said about our courses and how we do our training in here. You're always free to call the office. You can always come in and check out our classes, have a free demo in here, sit in class and see how it's done. If it's something that you think is right for you, subscribe to our channels, register, and be the next student in class. My name is Roland. I'm one of the instructors here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.